Chapter 51 Super Critical Strike. Immortal Phoenix Medicine, Immortal Golden Body Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After leaving, Su Chang'e flew on his sword all the way and rushed to Yingqing. He naturally knew what it meant to befriend a saint. Before this saint grew up, he had a deep bond with her. After she transformed, the rewards he would get would be unimaginable. Moreover, there was another most important motive for him to intercept her. The martial arts competition was in teams of 2, and he needed a teammate. If he could intercept a future saint to form a team together, he would be able to sweep the entire sect. Don't forget, if the maidservant transforms into an immortal, even drinking water can increase her cultivation. Where can I find such a terrifying teammate? Thinking of this, Su Chang'e became more and more happy, and his speed of traveling increased by dozens of times. Although it was very fast, he still felt slow. Excited. Excited. He must quickly collect the maidservant. Master, do you want to sit on me? At this moment, the voice of Shi suddenly sounded in his ears. Su Chang'e was slightly startled. Yes, Shi is a dog, so wouldn't his flying speed be much faster than flying a sword? Why didn't I think of it just now? It seems that sometimes when you are too excited, your IQ will also decrease. Okay, come out. He nodded slightly. Buzz, a few ripples appeared in the void, and Shi's huge body suddenly appeared in the air. The dog form was extremely huge and the flying speed was extremely fast. Master, please get on. Su Chang'e put away his sword, walked to her, and then rode on her, but he was a little speechless in his heart. Others ride horses or monsters, and I ride, a dog? Suddenly, in his mind, the system subsidy arrived. Ding! You sent out Lingji Lingbing Xuanhuan Ji, Diji Lingbing Hongguang Ji, Diji Lingbing Hongguang Ji, Diji Lingbing Haoyue Ji. The 10 billion subsidy takes effect, triggering an excessive critical strike. This excessive critical strike multiple, 372,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining level elixir, Immortal Phoenix Elixir. Level Technique, Immortal Golden Body Technique. Su Chang'e's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Why are there elixir and techniques? Shouldn't it be weapons? Ding. System prompt. System subsidies are random subsidies, sometimes quantitative subsidies, sometimes qualitative subsidies. Su Chang'e understood, that is, it is not that you will get what you send back, and you may also get other things. This is interesting. It's like opening a blind box, which makes him a little addicted. Shaking his head, he stopped thinking about it. Immediately, while he was rushing on the road, he took out the Immortal Phoenix Elixir and began to look at it. I saw that it was about the size of an arm, shaped like a lotus root, porcelain white, and had a refreshing fragrance. After taking a sip, I felt my breathing smooth, my ears and eyes clear, and my spirits doubled. The system sounded, Immortal Phoenix Medicine, it is condensed from the blood of the ancient phoenix. It is extremely precious. Just take a bite and you can repair all the injuries in your body and return to your peak state. Fuck, Su Chang'e's heart jumped with joy. I vaguely remember that the master gave him a Nirvana Phoenix pill before, which has the same effect, but there is only one Phoenix pill, and it will be gone after you eat it, and this Immortal Phoenix medicine is so big, how many bites can it take? He is wearing a resurrection armor. Cool. Su Chang'e's face was full of red light, and he immediately looked at the next item, Immortal Golden Body Art. The system voice also sounded, Immortal Golden Body Art. The bodybuilding exercises of the immortal kings in ancient times are divided into 2 parts. The upper part is the 36 gangs, and the lower part is the 72 earthly evils, corresponding to the 36th and 72nd floors respectively. This is one of the gang exercises. When you practice it to the extreme, you will transform into an immortal golden body, and your flesh will be immortal, as hard as iron, invulnerable to all methods, and all evil will retreat. Fuck, I won. Su Chang'e was in high spirits and overjoyed. This is a real bodybuilding technique. Although it only has the upper part, it is enough to make him invincible. I like the feeling of pushing forward with my physical body. As for the lower part of the 72 earthly evils, maybe a critical hit will come out in the future, who knows when. No more thinking, he started practicing immediately. Open the immortal golden body art and take a look. All of a sudden, he felt as if he had opened a new world, and was in the vast land. There was a rich earth spirit gathering, which was extremely pure. It penetrated into the pores of the whole body and passed into the body, making people feel refreshed and comfortable all over. The first floor. The 10th floor. The 15th floor. The 20th floor. The 36th floor. Time passed slowly, and 5 hours passed in a blink of an eye. The Gang body strengthening technique has 36 levels, but after a systematic analysis, the mighty mantras in it were transformed into simple and easy-to-understand texts, and he soon understood and digested them. Su Chang'e opened his eyes, his pupils sparkled, and a strong momentum swept from his body, sweeping across the clouds. Ripples were faintly heard in the void, and the terrifying wave rushed to the bullfight, mighty and spreading in all directions. The next moment, the technique fed back, and the cultivation began to rise. After the palace realm, it is the nirvana realm. Boom, breakthrough. Half-step nirvana. Nirvana realm first level. Nirvana realm third level. Nirvana realm fifth level. Nirvana realm seventh level. Ninth level of nirvana. A Gang Gong method directly raised his cultivation level to a great level, from the ninth realm of the divine palace to the ninth realm of nirvana, which is a terrifying improvement. He clenched his fist, and a fierce explosion suddenly filled the air, like thunder, and his eardrums roared. The sound of tigers roaring and dragons roaring faintly came from within the body. When the bite below heard this voice, he immediately understood that he had become stronger again, and yelled, "Master, you are so powerful." Su Chang'e smiled slightly as an answer. Next, one person and one dog rushed towards Eagle City. Eagle City, located in a basin in the southern part of Dongdao Domain, Zheng, businessmen gathered and it was extremely prosperous. At this time, in a luxurious mansion, there were sounds of whipping and kicking, accompanied by shrill screams. Everyone passing by stopped, shook their heads and sighed. Don't hit you slave. You slave knows it was wrong. You slave will never dare to do it again. The residence here is the Huang mansion, which is extremely wealthy. The person who spoke was a maid named Su Lianyue, but she was sold to the Huang family. For the convenience of handling her, the Huang family usually called her you slave. Oh, it's so miserable. That maid was sold to the Huang family. She was beaten or scolded every time, and her life was worse than that of a pig or a dog. Alas! Who is not? I have pity on this girl, she is such a miserable person. Many passers-by at the door were moved by the scene inside, but they didn't dare to step forward to stop them. The Huang family was famous for being powerful in Eagle City. They were entrenched here and were so tyrannical that no one dared to mess with them. At this time, another curse came from within the Huang family. Mom, I asked you to feed the pigs at 12 o'clock, but you dare to be 1 minute late. If you don't need the ears, then I will cut them off for you. Suddenly, many passers-by understood why Su Lianyue was beaten. Just because the pigs are fed a minute late, they will be beaten. Oh, what a miserable child. Let's go, I can't bear to watch anymore. Passers-by shook their heads and sighed, and left one after another. Not long after they left, there was a buzz in the air, and Su Chang'e arrived with him. Master, here we are, I'm going back. The destination has been reached, and it will automatically return to the system space. Su Chang'e fell from the sky and entered Huang's house. P.S. The previous power system is indeed weak. The author spent 2 hours refining the entire book. After the refining, the previous physical strength has reached 1,000,000 level, and the dragon-slaying knife is also 1,000,000 level. Old readers. Please note that new readers are reading the refined version, so don't worry. Chapter 52, The Hero Saves the Beauty, Punching Her Hard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There were no guards at the entrance of Huang's house, nothing else, unnecessary. because no one dares to provoke the Huang family. Because of this, Su Chang'e had an unimpeded journey and soon followed the screams into the Huang family. When he saw the scene in front of him, even he was shocked and deeply surprised. Oh, what a miserable scene that is! A woman of 17 or 18 years old, with shackled feet, covered in mud and blood, was kept in a pig pen like an animal. On the side, an old man and a young man were holding a whip in their hands. The whip was stained with bright red blood. It was obvious at a glance that they were whipping wildly. The Huang family didn't care about this slave girl at all. After buying Su Lianyue, they arranged for her to live in a pig pen, which showed no dignity. This is to make it convenient for her to feed the pigs, and at the same time to save a side room. In the Huang family's view, slaves are not human beings and do not deserve to live in a house where humans live. In order to prevent her from escaping, the Huang family put heavy shackles on her ankles. There was a thick iron ring on the wall of the pigsty. The shackles were connected to the iron ring, tying her tightly. Here. What you eat is pig food and you sleep in a pig pen. Su Lianyue has been tortured to the point of being inhuman, her face is sallow, and her body is as thin as a beggar. Hey, is this how people live? The Huang family didn't treat her as a human being at all. Even worse than a pig or a dog. Su Chang'e only felt that his eyes were a little moist, and tears fell down when he was touched by the scene. The Huang family is really nothing. Aha, that suddenly there was a loud sound, and the old man swung his whip and cursed angrily, I'll beat you to death. Let's see if you can remember it next time. The whip was a steel whip, extremely heavy, and struck the air horizontally, causing a terrifying sonic boom to erupt in the air. Ah ah ah, you slave doesn't dare anymore, you slave really doesn't dare anymore. Seeing the whip come down again, Su Lianyue lost all hope, fell to the ground and cried bitterly, is my life really worse than these pigs? She closed her eyes in despair, it's just that she waited for a long time, but still didn't wait for the whip to fall. Instead, she heard a crisp bone crack, followed by screams. Crack. Bang. Boom. 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 That the sound of smashing was heard. Su Lianyue only felt a strong breath coming like thunder, and suddenly there was a strong wind blowing against her face, fists and palms intersecting, and there was the sound of wind and thunder. The energy was so strong that her clothes were fluttering, that true energy swept across, like a huge wave, like the waves of a river, continuous and roaring like wind and thunder. Suddenly, she opened her eyes, she saw it, and saw a man in white appearing like a savior. He punched out, and the steel whip he swung exploded into pieces in an instant, with sparks flying everywhere. As for the old man who was wielding the whip, his arms were numb from the shock of the punch. Before he could curse, he was punched on the head. Bang, .1 punch, headshot. The old man's head exploded on the spot, and bones flew everywhere. Hiss. Su Lianyue was shocked. Who was he and why did he want to save herself? You, who are you, and why did you break into my Huang family? The young man on the side was shocked and horrified when he saw Su Chang'e take action. This person can actually blow up the housekeeper with one punch, he is probably not a good person. He is the young master of the Huang family, and the old man whose head was shot is the housekeeper of the Huang family. As he spoke, the young master of the Huang family's tone was filled with anger. No matter who this person is, if he dares to break into the Huang family and kill someone, he will never leave here today. Boom! That a strong coercion suddenly burst out from the body of the young master of the Huang family. His spine was straight like a dragon, and the pressure was rolling in like a wave. Su Chang'e glanced at him coldly. Puff! That the face of the young master of the Huang family changed and he vomited blood. It was as if he was hit by an invisible mountain. He flew backwards and hit the wall hard. His bones were broken and his tendons were broken. He could no longer straighten his waist. He was holding on to the ground and vomiting blood. Wait a minute. Brother, wait a minute. It said that we don't know each other until we fight. If you like this maid, then I'll give it to you. that the young master of the Huang family changed his attitude 180 degrees, and hurriedly sent Su Lianyue out with a smiling face. Su Chang'e had no expression on his face and glanced at the shocked Su Lianyue. Then he walked up to the young master of the Huang family and kicked him without any nonsense. Bang! With one kick, the young master of the Huang family was kicked straight through the chest like a fragile keyboard, making a clicking sound. His ribs were broken and he was bleeding profusely. He clutched his chest, his face full of disbelief. What kind of body is this that is so terrifying? Boom! Su Chang'e kicked him again. The head of the young master of the Huang family was kicked to pieces, and it exploded like a watermelon into a bloody mist. Thump! He fell down hard and lost his breath. Immediately, Su Chang'e approached Su Lianyue and punched the shackles, causing sparks to fly in all directions. The shackles broke and exploded into pieces. After regaining her freedom, Su Lianyue had tears in her eyes. She stared blankly at Su Chang'e with tears streaming down her face. From now on, with me here, no one can bully you anymore, Su Chang'e said solemnly. After doing this, he pointed at the unsightly corpses of the Huang family's housekeeper and the Huang family's young master, and said coldly, "From now on, if anyone dares to touch you, this will be the fate." In an instant, tears fell uncontrollably from Su Lianyue's eyes, and her face was filled with tears. Zhang Yuyan, he finally, was freed. At this moment, something strange happened. What a bastard, playing the hero to save the beauty here. With a fierce laugh, an old man in grey robe came, with a strong pressure on his body. He was not someone else, but the head of the Huang family, whose cultivation was in the transcendent realm. When he sensed the aura of Su Chang'e's cultivation, he was shocked, but the next moment, he resumed his fierce smile and sneered, "Why do I dare to kill my Huang family? It turns out that your cultivation is so strong, but I'm sorry, my Huang family's face cannot be insulted. You can't leave." With a sizzling sound, he took out something from his arms and shot it into the air. In an instant, a firework rushed up to the sky, and finally formed a huge eagle pattern in the sky. Hiss! The Huang family called someone. It's the eagle cult. Hiss! Something big is going to happen now. Countless people saw the pattern in the sky from a distance, their faces changed, and their hearts were terrified. The reason why no one dared to provoke the Huang family was because of the huge eagle cult standing behind them. The eagle cult was very powerful and fierce, liked to kill, was extremely bloodthirsty, and was extremely cruel. Once, a strong man provoked the eagle cult, just because he accidentally injured a dog of the eagle cult. The eagle cult directly killed that person and his entire family. Even the newborn baby was not spared. The notoriety of the evil spread far and wide, and many people were terrified when they heard about it. And this Eagle City, formerly called Baishur City, was conquered by Eagle City, destroyed the city lord's mansion, supported the Zhou family to take power, and regarded Eagle City as its subordinate city. And the Eagle cult controlled hundreds of cities like this. Not long after, several extremely powerful auras arrived one after another. The leader of the Eagle cult and dozens of his high-level officials came together. Chapter 53, The small blood-eating vein erupts, and the Sky Eagle cult is completely destroyed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom! A flash of lightning flashed across the dark red sky, filled with extreme pressure, like a rolling sea, thunder and waves. Oppression enveloped everyone in Yingcheng. Several burly figures could be seen descending under the reflection of lightning, hands behind their backs, dharma images on their backs. Everyone stood like a god, overlooking the Yingcheng below. Under the interweaving and collision of the powerful true qi, even the space collapsed, and it seemed that the battle could collapse the earth. Puff! Someone spit out blood under the pressure. Some people's faces turned red, their blood and qi in their bodies were impetuous, their spines bent, and they knelt on the ground. In an instant, the atmosphere became solemn and solemn. Countless people close to the Huang family also understood what happened at this time. The news spread, it was only a breath. The whole Yingcheng understood that it turned out that someone was dissatisfied with the Huang family's behavior and rescued the maid. This time, it was a mess. Alas, the Eagle cult is so powerful, and the leader is here in person. The young man's fate is worrying. Alas, it's hard to be a good person. I hope that young man will leave quickly, the farther the better. Countless people smacked their lips, but they didn't dare to say much for fear of being sensed by the eagle cult. Haha, boy, no matter how strong your cultivation is, you can't escape death with all the masters of the eagle cult. The head of the Huang family laughed. The leader of the eagle cult and many high-level officials also set their sights on the Huang family mansion at this time. When he saw the pressure of the 9th level of nirvana emanating from the young man in white, he smiled slightly and didn't care. This kind of cultivation, any one of them has. Huang Jian, is that boy? The leader of the eagle cult asked coldly. The head of the Huang family immediately said, it's him. You have to make the decision for me. The leader of the eagle cult smiled coldly and said lightly, it's just a small fish in the 9th level of nirvana. I can kill it with one hand. As soon as the voice fell, Su Chang'e smiled coldly, waved his hand at the void and said, swallow. Suddenly, ripples appeared in the void, and a huge dog that almost blocked the sun emerged and lingered in the void. The strong breath rushed over, like a dark cloud covering the sky, and the breath of oppression oppressed the entire eagle city. Everyone present suddenly felt a pressure from the depths of their souls, and the suffocating pressure made them unable to straighten their waists. Some people even had their legs exploded with a bang, and the whole person knelt on the ground, looking at the dog in the void in fear as if looking up at a god. The face of the leader of the eagle cult turned pale, and a touch of shock flashed in his eyes. Ancient beast bloodline. No, let's go. His face changed quickly, and he turned around and left with his men. Although this beast has not yet grown into a complete form, the strong bloodline suppression alone is not something he can contend with. Want to leave? Too late. Su Chang'e shouted coldly, waving his hand and said, sure, kill them all, don't leave a single one. Yes, master. Endless light burst out from Shi's body, the divine light flickered, covering the sky, and his wings suddenly spread out, blocking the sun, covering the entire eagle city, and the bloodline breath of the ancient beast burst out in full force. This breath was like a vast and boundless galaxy, hanging in the void, and also blocked all the surrounding space. Not even a fly could be separated. Suddenly, all the people in the eagle cult felt that there was an invisible mountain hanging above their heads, pressing them to be frightened and suffocated, and unable to breathe. Sir, I was wrong. Today's incident was caused by my short-sightedness. I offended you. Please don't take it to heart and let me go. The eagle cult leader begged for mercy directly. There was no other way. The other party was followed by an ancient beast. Who could beat him? The faces of many eagle cult leaders behind him also changed. They looked at the eagle cult leader nervously, hoping that his begging for mercy would make the other party show mercy. However, below, Su Chang'e didn't even look at him. He coughed twice and turned his face away. Shi immediately understood what he meant. His terrifying blood burst out in an instant, like a tidal wave, a howling wind, and thunder resounding through the sky. Don't, senior, I was wrong. Bang! Shi made a move, and the terrifying pressure crushed down, like an ancient sacred mountain falling, and the eagle cult leader instantly turned into a ball of blood mist, and then, Shi looked at the many eagle cult leaders, without any nonsense, and also suppressed them with blood. Bang! 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 Under the pressure, many high-ranking members of the eagle cult had no power to fight back, and all of them were killed in an instant. There were more and more blood mists in the void, and the bloody smell was pungent. All the people in Eagle City below were shocked and shocked. Hiss. So that young man. Be careful with your words. Don't make irresponsible comments. Hiss. They all vaguely guessed that perhaps the young man in white was a big shot from a holy land, or a key target of training by a powerful sect. After all, with such a powerful monster following him, who would believe it if he was an ordinary person? To destroy the Huang family and the eagle cult behind the Huang family, it would be like a strong dragon crushing a local snake, crushing it with overwhelming force. The head of the Huang family was so scared that he trembled all over, his face was as pale as paper, and he became like a clay sculpture or a wooden sculpture. He stared at Su Chang'e blankly, his lips trembling, and he couldn't speak. The leader of the eagle cult and those high-ranking members were all destroyed. All dead. His heart was shaken, and he felt deeply incredulous. How could this be possible? How could there be an ancient beast following that young man? Su Lianyue was also shocked. She stared at Su Chang'e's figure blankly. She only felt that his figure was extremely majestic, as if he was an insurmountable mountain. If anyone bullied her, he would stand in front of her and protect her. Su Lianyue. In a trance, she heard Su Chang'e calling her. She was shocked and hurriedly responded, "Yes, Yuenu is here. The head of the Huang family is in your hands. Kill him." Su Chang'e said lightly. He knew that Su Lianyue must hate the Huang family to the core, so he didn't kill her, and let her kill, and she would definitely get a lot of good fortune. It turned out that he guessed right. Su Lianyue heard the words, and a warm current suddenly arose in her heart, grateful and tearful. Yes. Yuenu knows. Su Chang'e threw her a knife. She held the knife, with tears on her face, but also determination and tenacity, and walked quickly to the head of the Huang family. The head of the Huang family regretted it so much that he cried and begged, "No. No, you knew, I didn't mean it. Those were all done by my son. It was his idea to let you sleep in the pig pen and eat pig food. It had nothing to do with me. You have to distinguish right from wrong." Puff. The white knife went in, and the red knife came out. The head of the Huang family fell in a pool of blood, and blood flowed all over the floor. After killing him, Su Lianyue looked up at the sky and felt redemption and liberation for the first time, as if all the pressure on her head had been removed and she could see the sun again. In fact, she hated the Huang family to the bone. The Huang family didn't treat her as a person at all. She was bought and made a slave. She had no freedom, no dignity, nothing, and lived worse than pigs and dogs. She had nightmares every night, dreaming that she was beaten to death, or starved to death or frozen to death. But now, she was finally free. She turned her head to look at Su Chang'e, and a colorful smile finally appeared on her desperate face, and then she suddenly fell down. After killing her enemy, she felt relieved. She felt exhausted and fell into a deep sleep. Chapter 54, Destroy the Huang family and take Su Lianyue away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With the destruction of the Huang family, all the people in the Huang family instantly became like frightened birds, and some servants slipped away from the back door, but they were all caught up by Su Chang'e and all of them were blown up with one punch. Not long after, the Huang family was completely destroyed, and no one escaped, cut the grass and root, leaving no one alive. Then, Su Chang'e continued to carry out the fine tradition of searching for spoils. He searched the Huang family for a while, and looted all the valuable items that he could see with the naked eye, such as some gold-cast thrones, diamond-inlaid swords, rare family treasures, night-shining pearls hanging on the wall. As long as they were valuable, they were all looted. At the end of the looting, he found a cellar in the backyard. Enter the cellar. It was brightly lit inside, very deep, and dozens of iron boxes were placed on the shelves. Su Chang'e smashed all the boxes with one punch, and white spirit stones immediately flowed out of them. With a sweep of his spiritual sense, there were a full 380,000 high-grade spirit stones, which should be the family assets accumulated by the Huang family over the years, but now, they all belonged to him. In addition, he found some common weapons and elementary skills in the cellar, as well as some silver and gold, some other medicinal materials, and agate pearl necklaces, gold and silver used in the mortal world. Su Chang'e accepted everything. He came and took them all. Although gold and silver are of little use to cultivators, it is very fun to pick up girls in the mortal world. Then, he walked to the outside world, picked up the sleeping Su Lianyue, flew away on the sword, and sped away. As for the remnants of the eagle sect who did not come, he was not in a hurry for the time being. At the moment, going back to take care of the reincarnation of the saint was the most important thing. The remnants of the eagle sect could be destroyed when they were free. Long after he left, cheers broke out in Eagle City. I didn't expect that he was such a big shot. How dare the eagle cult claim that it can destroy others with one hand? How shameless. I am dying of laughter. Haha, Eagle City will be free again in the future. Eagle City has to pay heavy taxes to the eagle cult every year. It is taxes, but in fact it is protection fees. The huge amount of protection fees every year makes them breathless, but now, it is no longer necessary. The pressure on their head suddenly decreased, and everyone cheered and thanked Su Chang'e from the bottom of their hearts. Just as Su Lianyue was taken away by Su Chang'e, Taishian Dao sect, Taifeng, a quiet room when Zheng Xikong too was practicing cross-legged here, but suddenly, he felt his heart skip a beat, as if he had lost something in the dark, and his heart suddenly became empty, which made him feel depressed. Strange. He frowned and could no longer practice quietly. Su Chang'e carried Su Lianyue all the way and returned to the sect at dusk, entered the house. He put Su Lianyue on the bed and then sat cross-legged beside her. He knew that Su Lianyue had never slept well since she entered the Huang family. After all, how could she sleep well if she lived and ate with livestock? And now, he should let her sleep well. Time passed slowly, and 3 hours passed in a blink of an eye. The morning of the third day, the air was fresh, and there was a refreshing fragrance flowing in the air. Su Lianyue slowly opened her eyes, looked around, and murmured in confusion, "Where am I? This is Taishian Dao sect. You slept for 3 days, come, eat something first." Su Chang'e briefly explained, and then handed over the noodles that had been prepared long ago. Su Lianyue understood that this lifesaver brought her to his sect and took care of her for 3 days in every possible way. Benefactor. Her nose was sour, and tears overflowed from her eyes. She was born in a family that favored boys over girls. Her father sold her to the slave market when she was 5 years old. She was beaten and scolded for so many years. Everyone treated her as a slave. No one ever treated her as a human being, let alone treated her so well. She looked at the bowl of noodles with tears in her eyes. She took it in her hand. Hunger made her ignore her image and immediately began to eat it up. "Eat slowly, don't choke, there is still meat here." Su Chang'e took out a whole braised elbow and handed it to her. Su Lianyue suffered unforgivable treatment in the Huang family. Where had she eaten such a delicacy? She looked at the braised elbow, and a warm current flowed through her heart. She thanked Su Chang'e profusely, then took the elbow and ate it up. Alas! Su Chang'e looked at her like this and couldn't help but sigh. Soon, Su Lianyue finished the noodles and elbow, and finally recovered some strength. She came to Su Chang'e, tears in her eyes, and said, "My benefactor, please accept Yunu's greetings." Su Chang'e helped her up and said softly, "Don't be so reserved, and don't use the name Yunu anymore. I'll give you a new name, Lianyue, which means that all your unbearable past is over." Su Lianyue was grateful in her heart and said with tears, "Thank you, my benefactor. Don't be reserved, just call me master." Su Chang'e smiled kindly. "Well, Lianyue remembers it. Come with me." Su Chang'e took her hand and walked out. Su Lianyue was very obedient and well-behaved. As if she had found support, she held his hand tightly and followed him. Along a mountain road, Su Chang'e led her to Qingtan in the back mountain. He took out a white long skirt from the storage bag and said softly, "Go down and take a bath, and then change into a new dress. If there is anything you need, come to me at any time, and I will satisfy you." "Ah, thank you, sir." Su Lianyue's heart was filled with gratitude, and tears of emotion kept flowing down her eyes. Her clothes had long been worn out and covered with mud. Now that she had new clothes, she felt warm and grateful. Su Chang'e did not forget to wipe her tears and said, "Don't cry. Girls will not look good if they cry." Su Lianyue felt warm in her heart. For the first time in her life, she felt the warmth of being cared for. From the time she could remember until now, she had never experienced the warmth of the world. Now Su Chang'e was good to her, and she was deeply moved, fearing that this was a dream. Then, Su Chang'e left. About an hour later, Su Lianyue finished her bath. Her dirty face became as white as jade, exuding a clear and spiritual aura. She put on a white dress and looked graceful. However, due to long-term arrears and malnutrition, her face was still slightly sallow, and her figure looked thin and thin. Soon, she returned to the house. "Sir, where should I go from now on?" She looked around, her face showing strangeness and fear, fearing that she would be driven away. Su Chang'e smiled kindly and said, "This will be your home from now on. You can stay as long as you want." No one will drive you away. Su Lianyue's heart suddenly filled with warmth. Su Chang'e took out 1,000 spiritual stones and a technique from the storage bag, which were all found in the Huang family. He said in a friendly way, "Lianer, take these spiritual stones to absorb, and practice this technique as well." Su Lianyue's heart warmed, but then she was flattered and said in a trembling voice, "Sir. Sir, you are so good to Lianer. Lianer doesn't know how to repay you. Lianer is just an ordinary person, stupid, and I have low self-esteem. I am afraid that I can't repay your kindness in the future. She is not a cultivator." Su Chang'e gave her so many spiritual stones and techniques to absorb right away. She was moved and felt panic and self-blame. A feeling of inferiority arose in her heart. Don't be inferior. In my eyes, you are not a slave, but a companion. Take it. Su Chang'e said softly. Not a slave. Su Lianyue's heart moved. Suddenly, she was deeply moved, her nose was sour, and she couldn't help crying suddenly. The young master did not regard me as a slave, but as a real person. I met a good person. Chapter 55, One Step Ahead, The Millennium Creation Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, Su Lianyue stopped her emotions and began to absorb the spirit stones. Not long after, she suddenly said in surprise, "Oh, I actually stepped into the back realm." Su Chang'e took a closer look and realized that just a piece of spiritual stone had caused her cultivation level to reach the second level of the back realm. This is too evil. He is indeed the reincarnation of a saint. But after entering the back realm, her cultivation slowed down. Su Chang'e understood that this was because she had not yet transformed into an immortal and was still an ordinary person. You absorb it slowly, I'll go out first. He walked out and sat down cross-legged outside. In my mind, the system subsidy has also arrived. Ding! You gave away 1,000 pieces of high-grade spirit stones and the yellow-level skill concentration technique. Tens of billions of subsidies took effect, triggering a super-critical strike. This super-critical hit multiplier, 379,000 times. Congratulations to the host for getting high-quality spiritual stone. Extreme sword technique, earth-shattering cross slash. Another sword technique. Su Chang'e's eyes lit up. The system sounds, earth-shattering cross slash, the killing technique of the ancient strong man. With one slash, it can create a terrifying cross. The ground will collapse layer by layer due to the slash, forming a 1,000-foot deep cross crack. If it hits a monk, his physical body and soul will be cut into the shape of 10, and then both body and soul will be destroyed, and the body will die and the Tao will disappear. Wow, this wave of blood profit. Su Chang'e was pleasantly surprised. This sword technique sounds terrifying, and it also looks extremely terrifying. The ground collapses when the cross crosses it. This special effect is awesome. Last time, the attack range of the Taisheng electric knife was not large, but its attack power was concentrated, which was equivalent to killing a single person, and this earth-shattering cross slash has a large range and can be used to fight in groups or clear the field. The two knife skills match each other. It's so cool. While thinking about it, he was also overjoyed in his heart. Not only did this gain the saint's reincarnation's favor, but he also received a system subsidy. This feeling of killing two birds with one stone is so refreshing. But Su Chang'e suddenly thought of something. The martial arts tournament is coming soon. We must quickly find an opportunity for Lianer to help her break through quickly. Things like opportunities are simple and easy, but also difficult. Someone encounters an opportunity while walking on the road, but there are also people who search all over Kanglan realm and work all their lives, but they can't find that chance until they die. This kind of thing is so deceiving, but Su Chang'e is not worried. There is a dark soul emperor around you that you can use, so what are you afraid of? He immediately found a hidden place, took out the bracelet, and then took out the half of the spiritual stone that was not used last time and placed it next to the bracelet. As soon as the spirit stone was placed next to the bracelet, a squeaking sound immediately sounded in the air, and the spirit stone disappeared. Immediately afterwards, the figure of the Dark Soul Emperor appeared in front of his eyes. Ha, I can finally see the outside world again. The Dark Soul Emperor's face was a little pale, and he was obviously very eager to wake up. Su Xianxia didn't waste time and said straight to the point, I have cut off that maid's beard, but she has not transformed into an immortal, so now I still need your help. Please help me look at the fate of the others. Let's see. I'll see if there's any opportunity for a breakthrough or something. Hearing this, the Dark Soul Emperor suddenly felt happy. That's great. I'll go out with you. Su Xianxia shook his head and said, there is no need to go out, we can just stay at the sect. I have already decided where to go. Oh. Dark Soul Emperor said, where to go? Taifeng. Su Xianxia turned to look at Taifeng, with a strange arc at the corner of his mouth, and said, the opportunity to intercept Hu is not as exciting as the opportunity to intercept Hu Taifeng's gang of bastards. But senior, you have to hide yourself so that they don't find you. After hearing these words, the Dark Soul Emperor thought, and his figure suddenly turned into a grain of sand and landed on Su Xianxong's heart. The grains of sand are so tiny that you can't even see them unless you look closely. This is the great magical power of the Dark Soul Emperor, a drop in the ocean. Immediately, Su Xianxia used Tai Chu Yin Yang Ghost Step and sneaked towards Tai Peak silently. It didn't take long. Su Xianxia came behind a disciple of Taifeng. This disciple was walking in front, unaware that the shadow behind him was gradually lengthening in the sunlight, and a figure sneaked into his shadow. Wen Zheng. Senior, what is the fate of this person? Inside the shadow, Su Xianxia asked in a deep voice. The Dark Soul Emperor took one look at it and immediately showed disdain on his face, saying, it's very ordinary. Su Xianxia said nothing. The disciple followed a road and soon arrived at a square. There are many people in the square, many of whom are sitting cross-legged to absorb the spiritual energy from the earth, practicing against the clock to prepare for the martial arts competition. Su Xianxia glanced at these people one by one, observing in secret. Then I asked the Dark Soul Emperor one by one. And most of the people I got were mediocre people. Suddenly, Su Xianxia's eyes narrowed. A disciple in black appeared in his sight, with a lean figure and a very mean face. It's Xuanhuan. Hello, senior brother Hu. Many disciples saw Xuanhuan coming and hurriedly stepped forward to salute. As an inner disciple, Xuanhuan has a very high status. He usually behaves very viciously and will definitely retaliate. Many disciples are afraid of him. Xuanhuan glanced at everyone, and he didn't even pay attention to them, and went directly to the center of the square to absorb the spiritual energy. There is a spiritual formation there, and the spiritual energy is dozens of times that of other locations. Senior, what is the fate of Xuanhuan? Su Xianxia asked with a stern look in his eyes. The Dark Soul Emperor glanced at Xuanhuan and said contemptuously, it's also very average. Just at this moment, a lean disciple with a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks and a mouse-like face stood up and walked towards the main peak. His target is the teleportation array on the main peak. Su Xianxia noticed him and asked quietly, Senior, what is the fate of this person? The Dark Soul Emperor took one look, his pupils suddenly condensed, and said, quick, follow him. Su Xianxia was immediately happy to see his hunting heart. He knew he had something to gain this time. With a swish sound, he teleported out of the shadow, sneaked into the shadow of the sharp-mouthed monkey-cheeked disciple, and followed him silently. Along the way, the Dark Soul Emperor explained, after a cup of tea, this person will get an inconspicuous stone slab on the second floor of the Sutra Pavilion. There is a mezzanine inside the stone slab, which stores a 1000-year creation pill. He got this thing after that, he immediately absorbed it, and his power increased greatly in just a few breaths, breaking through 5 realms in a row. Su Xianxia was immediately overjoyed. Millennium Fortune Pill. That's it. The Dark Soul Emperor suddenly lost his voice and said, oh no, I'm overdrawn again and I'm going to sleep. Before he finished speaking, the jade bracelet flashed with light, and he entered it and fell into a deep sleep. Su Xianxia ignored him and followed the sharp-mouthed monkey-cheeked disciple. P.S. The author updates on time every morning at 9 o'clock, which is very stable. Sometimes it will be updated in advance, sometimes it will be explosive, and sometimes it will be updated. Chapter 56 The Millennium Creation Pill is in hand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Main peak, in front of the teleportation formation, Su Lianyue silently escaped from the shadow and appeared behind the sharp-mouthed monkey-cheeked disciple. Once a person enters the teleportation array, he will be teleported to the Sutra Pavilion in an instant. There is no light in the teleportation array, and the shadow will disappear for an instant, so Su Lianyue escaped from the shadow. The sharp-mouthed monkey-cheeked disciple entered the teleportation array and disappeared instantly. Su Lianyue followed closely and disappeared into the teleportation formation. Soon, 2 lights flashed at the door of the Sutra Pavilion, and 2 figures appeared. "Hey, you are so transparent. Why are you here too?" That the disciple with the sharp mouth and monkey cheeks glanced sideways and immediately saw Su Lianyue. With a hint of disdain on his lips, Su Lianyue deliberately let him see it. After all, this person had arrived at the door of the Sutra Pavilion. If he was allowed to get the good fortune pill, he would have come in vain. You have to find other ways to outsmart him. Su Lianyue looked around and found that the sloppy old man was still lying on the recliner, but he was already asleep, still sucking the wine gourd in his mouth. He smiled faintly and said, "Can't I come?" "Ha ha ha, I can definitely come." The sharp-mouthed monkey-cheeked disciple named Zhang Zongbao, who was extremely cunning, sneered, "I just don't know, which floor are you going to go to, you transparent person?" Su Lianyue thought for a moment and said, "Master told me that the higher the level of the sutra collection attic, the better the things inside, so I want to go to the highest level." Then, he raised his head and looked at the 6th floor of the Sutra Pavilion with longing in his eyes, like really wanting to go to the top. "The highest level? Just you?" Zhang Zongbao looked at him in disbelief and sneered, "Can you go up there? That there are formations at the entrance to each floor of the Sutra Pavilion. The higher the floor, the scarier the formation is and the harder it is to get up. Fortunately, this is a special period, so the sect leader has weakened the formation. Even though it has weakened, Zhang Zongbao still thinks that Su Lianyue is so transparent that it is impossible to go up at all, and even going to the 2nd floor is difficult. How can a person who is transparent and unable to practice resist that formation?" Su Lianyue said calmly, "Master told me that the road to cultivation is long and arduous. As long as you have great perseverance, you can eventually climb it." In fact, he did all this just to pave the way for Zhang Zongbao. When he got here, he felt that the heat was almost there, and then said, "How about this, let's make a bet, within 1 stick of incense, I will be able to go up to the 6th floor. If you don't believe it, go up and wait for me first. Remember timing." Zhang Zongbao smiled coldly, "You're just farting. You want 1 stick of incense? I'll give you 10 sticks of incense time on horseback. I'm afraid you won't even be able to get up." The corner of Su Lianyue's mouth raised a slight arc and said, "You think too much of me. What would you do if I climbed up with a stick of incense?" "Ha ha ha, you are so transparent. Okay, I will go to the 6th floor and wait for you. I want to see if you can blow off your bullshit." Zhang Zongbao laughed loudly, immediately entered the Sutra Pavilion, climbed to the 2nd floor, and then climbed to the 3rd floor, reaching the top in a short time. When he reached the top floor, he took out a stick of incense, lit it, and started counting. When Su Lianyue saw him coming up, the corner of his mouth moved and he sneered, "Only a fool would bet with you." He quickly entered the Sutra Pavilion, went straight to the 2nd floor, and started looking around. After a while, I found a stone slab at the bottom of a bookshelf near the corner. The stone slab was purple-gray, with a lot of dust on it, and it was unremarkable. Su Lianyue took it in his hand, blew away the dust in one breath, and then began to check for clues. After a while, he found a protrusion on the stone slab, which seemed to be a mechanism. Press the protrusion and there will be a click sound, and the stone slab will automatically separate, revealing the internal interlayer. Immediately, a strong fragrance of red dandelion hits your nostrils. It tastes like spring dew, making people feel refreshed and refreshed. Su Lianyue looked down and saw that this object was about the size of a fingernail, round, like a bead, with an entire body of emerald green, and a pure air of creation flowing around it. It was very extraordinary. This is the Millennium Fortune Pill. In order to prevent Zhang Zongbao from noticing the clues, Su Lianyue quickly put the Millennium Fortune Pill on his body. As for the stone slab, it was of no use, so he put it back in its place. Get this deal done. He raised his feet and left the Sutra Pavilion, then took the teleportation array and left without looking back. after Su Chang'e left, Zhang Zongbao on the 6th floor waited and waited, but he never came up. Haha, transparent, with your level of cultivation, you still want to go up to the 6th floor. Stop dreaming. After waiting for a while, the incense in front of me burned to the bottom, and the time was up. The cowhide is blown. Zhang Zongbao laughed loudly, raised his head high, and felt proud. Immediately, he walked downstairs. He turned around every floor, but he couldn't find Su Chang'e. This made him look happy and laughed. Maybe he couldn't get up, lost the bet, was so ashamed, and ran away. Not to mention how good Zhang Zongbao's mood was, as if he was pulsating after drinking. Next, he began to look for his own opportunities. The reason why he came here today was because he was practicing in the square of Taifeng just now, but at a certain moment, he suddenly felt that the Sutra Pavilion had its own opportunity, so he came here. Time passed by slowly, and a few hours passed in the blink of an eye. Zhang Zongbao searched for a long time, but found nothing. This made him gradually irritated. He always felt as if the destined treasure had passed him by, but it was not accurate, which was very strange. Finally, he returned to Taifeng in a depressed mood and continued to practice. Chapter 57 The terrifying reincarnation of a saint. Even drinking water can increase his cultivation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side, Su Chang'e quickly returned to Lihua Peak. The Millennium Fortune Pill is enough to allow Zhang Zongbao to break through the 5th level. It can definitely be used as an opportunity for Lianyue. That you must know that Zhang Zongbao has been a member of the sect for many years and has a very high level of cultivation. Even he has broken through the 5th realm, so Su Lianyue naturally doesn't need more. What's more important is that if such a terrifying treasure is given away, the treasure returned by the system's subsidies will definitely be even more terrifying. Soon, Su Chang'e returned to the house and asked Zheng. This time, Su Lianyue had absorbed all 1,000 middle-grade spiritual stones, but strangely, her cultivation had been stagnant in the back realm. She didn't know why, and her face was confused and full of questions. Only Su Chang'e knew that this was because he had not yet completely transformed. How powerful is the posture of a saint? How can a mere 1,000 spiritual stones activate her physique? Lianyue, I just went out and found this elixir for you. Take it and absorb it. Su Chang'e walked up to her, first touched her head, and then said kindly. Hearing that something was going to be given to her, Su Lianyue trembled, feeling flattered, and said, This. Young master, Lianyue can't give it to you for free. It's all over, don't be so formal. Su Chang'e grabbed her hand directly and forced the Millennium Fortune Pill into her hand. After finishing, he added, Absorb it quickly, otherwise I will get angry. This. Su Lianyue suddenly felt deeply moved in her heart again. The young master is so domineering. It turns out that domineering can also be so gentle. Immediately, she took the good fortune pill. When the elixir entered her mouth, she felt a warm current. It melted in her mouth, entered her body along her throat, and then spread to her limbs and bones. Wenzheng, the power of the Millennium Good Fortune Pill was very mild. Su Lianyue felt warm all over her body, as if she was sunbathing in the sun. A stream of heat rose from her lower abdomen and traveled through the various meridians and blood vessels in her body. Boom! Suddenly, there was an explosion inside her. It was as if some shackles had been broken. In an instant, she felt extremely comfortable all over her body, and her breathing became several times easier. Suddenly, a coercion like a vast galaxy inadvertently emerged from her body, and ripples appeared in the space, becoming like a horizontal plane, but soon disappeared. This is the pressure of the saint. The aura of the holy realm in her body leaked out inadvertently, but it soon disappeared. Then, her skin suddenly became as smooth and white as jade, her thin figure suddenly transformed. Her back was propped up like a dragon bone, her legs suddenly grew taller, her whole person seemed to have grown up suddenly. She was completely transformed, and she became immortal. Piao, with a face as bright as the moon and an appearance like a fairy. Su Chang'e took a deep breath and looked at her without moving his eyes for a moment. If what he expected was correct, at this moment, Su Lianyue should have transformed into an immortal, and her physique transformed into a psychic jade body. Next moment. Boom! Breakthrough. The 2nd level of the back realm. The 5th level of the back realm. The 7th level of the back realm. The 9th level of the back realm. Qihai. Transformation. Golden body. Dharma. Move blood. The pressure on Su Lianyue became stronger and stronger, and waves of terrifying waves swept across all directions in an instant. The surge in cultivation was beyond Su Chang'e's expectation. He knew that the reincarnation of a saint was extremely terrifying, but he never expected that it would be so terrifying. After activating her physique, how many realms had she broken through in a row? A total of 7 realms. He is indeed the reincarnation of a saint. This physique is truly terrifying. In the next moment, Su Lianyue sniffed and felt the sweetness in the air, like nectar. She took a sip subconsciously. Boom! Another breakthrough in cultivation. Moving to the 1st level of blood realm. Moving to the 3rd level of blood realm. Moving to the 5th level of blood realm. Moving to the 9th level of blood realm. With just one breath, her cultivation instantly reached the 9th level of moving blood, and she was only one step away from the next level of the divine palace. Su Chang'e was overjoyed. The faster Lianyue grows, the more he will benefit. At this moment, he suddenly felt a flash of light in front of him, and a light curtain appeared in front of him. It turned out to be a system prompt entry. System prompt: Su Lianyue is breathing, her cultivation level is +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. Su Chang'e. Damn it, is this the terrifying thing about the reincarnation of a saint? Awesome. It's really awesome. At this time, Su Lianyue also sensed her own changes, and her pupils reflected a deep sense of disbelief. She hurriedly turned to look at Su Chang'e and said, "Master, you are so kind to Lianyue, what kind of pill is this? I took one, and I got such a big transformation, and I also broke through so many realms." Su Chang'e smiled kindly. Lianyue actually attributed all this to his own elixir. This wave of good feelings harvested is just beautiful. He smiled lightly and said, "Do you like it? I'll give it to you later." Su Lianyue nodded and whispered, "Yes, Lianyue likes it." Su Chang'e took out another glass of water and handed it over, saying, "Are you thirsty? Have a drink." Su Lianyue was moved and took the water glass and drank it. Suddenly, the system prompt appeared again in front of Su Chang'e. Su Lianyue is drinking water, her cultivation level is +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. Worry. What a terrifying qualification, that he was shocked. Oh my god, where can I find such a good teammate? If we continue at this rate, by the time of the martial arts tournament, won't it be just like having fun by sweeping the entire sect? It seems that the position of the Holy Sun is within easy reach. Sir, why do I feel my body's cultivation is increasing bit by bit, as if it's increasing all the time? Is this normal? Is there something strange wrong with me? At this time, Su Lianyue raised her head and looked at him, her clear eyes revealing innocence. Su Chang'e touched her head and said, "Lianyue, you don't have to worry. The pill just broke the shackles in your body, allowing you to be reborn and undergo an earth-shaking transformation. From now on, you only need to follow the steps. Breathing and drinking water can increase your cultivation." After saying these words, Su Lianyue understood, her eyes suddenly shone, and she was extremely excited. She grabbed Su Chang'e's arm and put it in her arms, saying, "Master, thank you. If it weren't for you, Lianyue would never have undergone such a big transformation. You are Lianyue. My benefactor. Lianyue will never forget her for the rest of her life." Looking back on what happened during this period, she felt deeply incredible and couldn't believe that she had transformed like this. It was obvious that he was a slave 3 years ago and lived an unforgiving life, but now, due to the appearance of the young master, he has been reborn and reborn. He is like a light, illuminating his dark life. Su Chang'e waved his hand and said with a smile, "Okay Lianyue, you don't have to express your gratitude, just keep it in your heart." I understand. Chapter 58. The inner elixir of the Great Sun and the Golden Crow opens up a cave, and the whole clan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After settling Su Lianyue, Su Chang'e went out. Su Lianyue's cultivation has been growing steadily, bit by bit. He felt like he had found a treasure and thought he had to slowly conquer her. Ah, what kind of strategy? It was obvious that he was really good to her. The reincarnation of a saint was no joke. How could he be false? Just at this time, the system subsidy arrived on time. Ding! You sent a 1,000-year-old fortune pill, and the 10 billion subsidy took effect, triggering an overcritical strike. This overcritical strike multiple, 379,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining, Great Sun Golden Crow Inner Pill. Great Sun Golden Crow Inner Pill. Su Chang'e's breathing suddenly became rapid. In ancient times, there was a great sun golden crow that was rampant in the world. One claw could tear Mount Tai apart, one wing could cover the entire East China Sea, and one mouth could swallow the earth. It was extremely powerful. The system voice sounded, Inner Pill of the Great Sun Golden Crow. The inner pill in the body of the ancient fierce beast Great Sun Golden Crow takes 10,000 years to condense. It is the source of power in the body of the Great Sun Golden Crow. The inner pill contains extremely pure and rich cultivation power. If a cultivator takes it, it can reach the conditions for opening the hole in the body and open the hole. Wow! Awesome! Su Chang'e was so surprised that he almost jumped up with excitement. After the Nirvana realm, it is the cave realm. The cave realm is completely different from other realms. It is a big hurdle on the road of cultivation for cultivators. The reason is very simple: before the cave realm, there is no need to open up anything in the body. At most, you only need to refine the true qi. But the cave realm is different. Once you step into the cave realm, you need to open up the hole in your body, otherwise your cultivation will stop at the first level of the cave realm and you will never be able to make any progress. However, the hole in the body is not so easy to open up. Not only does it require extremely strong endowment, but it also requires swallowing extremely powerful materials and treasures. Once the cave is opened, not only will the strength soar, but the lifespan will increase by 500 years on the spot, and it can also take away the fortune of the earth and nourish itself. As far as Su Chang'e knows, many disciples of the sect are suffering from not meeting the conditions for opening the cave in the body and are stuck at this level, and the Great Sun Golden Crow Inner Pill he obtained is enough for him to open the cave and surpass countless people. What's more, this Great Sun Golden Crow Inner Pill is many times more terrifying than ordinary materials and treasures. It's so terrifying that it can't be measured at all. Hey, I gave Su Lianyue a treasure. Not only did I gain a lot of her favor, but the system also subsidized this treasure back, which is simply winning. Su Chang'e suddenly thought of something again, and smiled. Immediately, he raised his foot and left here, heading for the cliff below the main peak. The cave cannot be disturbed by others, otherwise it will vomit a lot of blood, and in serious cases, it will also cast a demon in the heart, so an extremely quiet place is needed. Main peak / In this waterfall, there is a water curtain cave with many training rooms. This is the place where the master specially built for the disciples to open up the cave. The disciples of each peak can use it. The master once ordered, once a disciple enters the training room, no one else can come forward to disturb. Soon, Su Chang'e chose a training room and walked in. This training room is made of real gold, and the walls are extremely thick and solid. He didn't waste time, sat down cross-legged, and then took out the inner pill of the Great Sun Golden Crow and swallowed it in one gulp. Boom! In an instant, there was a blast in his body, like a box exploding in his body, and the resulting wave instantly swept billions of cell particles, and the endless blood cells in the body flowed violently, bursting out with the sound of thousands of troops galloping on the battlefield. Boom! Nirvana realm, broken. Cave realm, opened. Cave realm level 1. After the cultivator enters the first level of the cave, he needs to open up a cave, and then he can continue to break through upwards. According to the number of holes opened in the body, there are 3 levels: 1 3 holes, brave level, 3 6 holes, epic level, 6 9 holes. Pass on the level. To explain it in simple terms, opening 1 to 3 holes means extraordinary qualifications, 3 to 6 holes means talent, 6 to 9 holes means peerless pride, after swallowing a big sun golden crow inner pill, Su Lianyue felt an extremely pure and vast heat wave dissolving in his chest, and then quickly spreading to the surroundings, with the chest as the center, spreading to all parts of the body. Boom! There was an explosion, the first hole was opened. Then, boom 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 boom, the deafening explosion continued, the endless blood in his body flowed violently, rumbling like thunder, and the holes in his body continued to open. The second hole. The third hole. The fourth hole. The fifth hole. The sixth hole. The seventh hole. The eighth hole. The ninth hole. Under the strong nourishment of the great sun golden crow's inner elixir, Su Lianyue successfully opened 9 caves in just a few breaths, reaching the legendary level. But he still felt that the cultivation power contained in the great sun golden crow's inner elixir seemed to have not been completely consumed, and was still flowing in his body, continuing to open caves. This. Su Lianyue was shocked. Could he continue to open caves upwards? Boom! The 10th cave. The 11th cave. The 12th cave. The 13th cave. In an instant, waves of terrifying aura swept out from the training room, spread to the outside of the water curtain cave, rushed up, and rushed into the sky. Su Lianyue was speechless. Is it so terrifying? At this time, Pear Blossom Peak, Qingyao was feeding the goldfish in the courtyard when her eyelids suddenly jumped. She felt a magnificent aura sweeping out from the bottom of the sect, rising into the sky, and her aura was long and strong. She was shocked and shocked. This, 13 caves. Oh my God, how is this possible? She stared blankly into the void, feeling the magnificent aura fluctuations, and was deeply shocked and incredible. Someone actually surpassed the level of the legend and opened up 13 caves. Is this true? Who is it? Which disciple is this? Qingyao's wrist trembled with excitement. She could never have imagined that there was such a terrifying disciple in the sect who opened up 13 caves in one fell swoop. This is, the most arrogant among the most arrogant. While thinking, she also prayed in her heart, hoping that it was not Tai Feng's disciple, otherwise the weird old man would be so happy. At the same time, not only the Pear Blossom Peak, but all the peaks of the Taishan Dao sect were shaken. One after another, powerful figures rose into the air and stood in the void. Feeling the magnificent and unparalleled fluctuations of the breath, they were all shocked and speechless. Hiss! Which disciple is this? He is so terrifying. Hey! He actually opened up 13 caves. Is he still a human? I have lived for most of my life, but I have never seen anyone who opened up 13 caves. This boy should be the future of our Taishan Dao sect. There were discussions and shocks. These are the high-level people in the sect. They are all powerful figures in various peaks, and there are many peak masters among them. At this moment, they felt the magnificent fluctuations that erupted from the water curtain cave, and their hearts were shaken and unbelievable. At this time, the water curtain cave erupted with a wave again. This wave was even more magnificent, like a vast and boundless deep sea, surging and surging, rumbling the air, and erupting with the sound of waves hitting the shore. Instantly, everyone present was shocked. This is the 14th cave. Chapter 59. The leader of the sect was shocked, and the whole sect was shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom 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 boom, continuous explosions erupted from Su Lianyue's body, like huge waves in a river, surging and continuous, like thunder and fire rumbling, bursting out with unparalleled momentum. The 14th hole. The 15th hole. The 16th hole. The 17th hole. The 18th hole. As an extremely harsh explosion erupted from his body, in just a short moment, the number of holes in Su Lianyue's body reached a terrifying 18. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying wave of aura swept out, rising from the ground, like a sword, sweeping across the void. The sky was filled with darkness, and many high-level sects felt the strong wind blowing in front of them. The waves were coming like waves. Their robes were stirring, making a sound, and even threatening to explode. Their hearts became more and more shocked. Unexpectedly, someone actually opened 18 caves. Oh my God, am I dreaming? What level should such a number of holes be? I don't know. But I can be sure that this kid will achieve extraordinary things in the future, far more than us old guys. This boy is really scary. I don't know which peak disciple he is. If anyone is his master, he will be trembling all over. Many senior executives looked excited and shocked, and their words could not conceal their shock and surprise. On the peaks below, countless disciples came running up, stood on high places and looked down the cliff, their eyes filled with shock and respect. They all felt dreamy at this moment. Hey, 18 caves, do they want to be so scary? Hiss. Who on earth is so powerful? A chief disciple on the platform said in shock. Another peak was shocked and said, his 18 caves can crush all of our peaks. It's scary. Who is he? We must get to know him as soon as possible and have a good relationship with him. Fengzhou even wanted to make friends. Buzz. At this moment, a bolt of lightning flashed through the void, and a terrifying coercion overflowed, crossing the universe and sweeping across the vast expanse of sky. Ripples appeared in the void, and a middle-aged man stepped out. He had his hands behind his back, and the aura on his body was as deep as the sea, unfathomable. When his eyes opened and closed, he exuded a commanding and coercive look. He was calm and powerful, making people dare not look directly at him. Immediately, a senior executive came forward and said, Sect Master. The other peak masters also stepped forward and saluted, Sect Master. No courtesy. The middle-aged man is the leader of Taishan Dao sect, named Lin Wudi. He has been in charge of Taishan Dao sect for many years and knows countless secrets of the sect. Right now, he was looking at the water curtain cave below, feeling the majestic atmosphere, and his eyes flashed with shock and ecstasy. This son. His eyes suddenly became solemn, and he lost his voice. This son actually set a new record in the Holy Land in millions of years, and even the founder was left far behind by him. As soon as this statement came out, there was an uproar all around. Set a new record in the Holy Land? Even the founding father was left far behind. Hiss. 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 A whole row of neat gasps suddenly sounded from the scene. Many peak masters know some secrets. The Taishan Dao sect was founded millions of years ago. At that time, it was called the Taishan Holy Land. The founder had extraordinary talents and was unparalleled in terror. He was the top power standing on the top of the Eastern Dao domain. Everyone. Lin Wudi was ecstatic, clasped his hands and laughed. The founder of the mountain opened 13 caves back then, which are far beyond the legendary level. Now, there are disciples who have opened up 18 buildings, far more than him. Is our Taishan Dao sect going to shock the entire Eastern Dao domain? Ha 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 ha. He laughed heartily, and then said, this boy is far beyond the legendary level, and is several times more powerful than the founder of the mountain. He is unique among 10,000. If we grow up in the future, I am afraid that our Taishan Dao sect will stand eternity and dominate the world. Ha ha ha. Lin Wudi's body was shaking with excitement, and he could hardly control his emotions. If he hadn't been disturbed while opening the cave, he would have entered the Xuanhuan cave to find this disciple and see who he was. As Lin Wudi finished speaking, everyone in the entire sect was shocked and deeply shocked. Some peak leaders and higher-ups were okay and could barely control their emotions, but on many peaks, especially on the platform peak, many disciples could not control their emotions and looked blankly at the water curtain cave, falling into deep self-doubt. It feels even more like being beaten. We are also disciples. Why can others open 18 caves, but they can only open 1 or 2? And some talents even fell into silence, feeling hit hard, and had a deep sense of frustration in their hearts. They felt that compared with others, they were simply garbage. Alas, when this senior brother grows up in the future, he will definitely be someone we look up to. After a long time, Yukai finally adjusted his mentality and let out a sigh of shame, but more people are still greatly affected and their Taoist minds are unstable. Du Sihai, the leader of Typhoon Peak, stared blankly at all this, his heart was shocked and he couldn't believe it. What happened today caused a big sensation in the sect. Countless people were either shocked, horrified, or feeling inferior. More people were overjoyed. The sect had a unique person. As fellow sect members, they felt that their faces were bright and their future paths were stable. Such a tyrannical and arrogant fellow is his senior brother, who would dare to provoke him without looking at him. Everyone, please step back. You are destined to be no match for him. Go back and stabilize your mentality. Don't let your guard down by mistake. Lin Wudi coughed and ordered. Everyone left one after another. After the whole scene was over, Lin Wudi also left the cluster with a swish. He could already predict in his heart that when the martial arts competition began, this disciple would definitely burst out with strength, sweep all the way, beat all the opponents in the sect, and ascend to the position of the Son of God. Thinking of this, he laughed heartily. Only this boy is qualified to be the Son of God. What Lin Wudi didn't know was that after he left, the water curtain cave erupted with a terrifying wave again. As if the deep sea was boiled, the terrifying wave stretched for thousands of miles, swept across the mountains and rivers, and swept across. The 19th cave. The 20th cave. The 21st cave. The 22nd cave. Su Chang'e was still opening caves, and the roaring sound was endless. When he opened 22 caves in one breath, the aura on his body stabilized, gradually condensed in his body, and formed a deep power. He didn't know what happened in the outside world just now, he had been concentrating on opening caves. After a while, he exhaled a breath of turbid air and stood up. His eyes were bright and energetic, emitting a strong light. The whole body changed greatly, as if he had been reborn. His skin became crystal clear and flawless like jade, emitting a porcelain white light, and his face was full of energy and radiant. 22 caves have been opened up. If I take action, I don't know how terrifying this attack will be. That the reason why the cave realm is a big threshold is that the cave in the body can bring a strong increase to the cultivator. When taking action, the cave in the body will transmit great power to the cultivator, bursting with shocking destructive power. At this time, Su Chang'e suddenly discovered that with the completion of the opening, his cultivation also soared straightly, and he had already entered the 9th level of the cave realm. And the physical strength also increased straightly by a full 2 million pounds, reaching the terrifying 4 million level. The blood in the body was like a dragon, and a single arm shook a huge force, surging and boiling. Refreshing. Immediately, he sat cross-legged and settled his cultivation. Outside, after many people retreated, they still couldn't hide their shock, and their faces changed again and again. Disciples from all the peaks gathered together for heated discussions, and the scene was full of noise, like a pot exploding. Hiss. I hope I don't meet that senior brother during the martial arts competition. Otherwise, it will be miserable. Alas, I don't want to either. I hope my luck will be better. After a while, these disciples gradually dispersed. At the same time, Typhoon, in the meeting hall, the air of killing was steaming, and a masked man in black with a restrained breath stood respectfully in front of Du Sihai. Master, you are looking for me. On the first seat, Du Sihai glanced at him and said in a deep voice, Knife Maniac, I order you to take Qingyao life at 3 o'clock tonight. The masked man in black is a deadly warrior. His name is Knife Maniac. His cultivation is at the 6th level of the cave realm, extremely powerful, and the sword maniac can't make any waves in front of him, and will be swept away with one move. Chapter 60, One move defeated the assassins. Qingyao was shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was night, it was dark and windy. A ferocious figure holding a knife sneaked into Lihua Peak. Wherever he passed, the trees swayed slightly, and there was an invisible strong wind, and the true energy roared like the waves. It was the Knife Maniac. He held a golden-backed machete, and the white blade was like a wolf in the dark night with its fangs bared, dazzling, but he covered it with a black cloth. The task assigned to him by Du Sihai was to kill Qingyao silently, so he came here this time to assassinate. Once successful, he would also commit suicide. This is a dead soldier. When he arrived at the next door, Du Sihai would announce to the entire sect, an external enemy attacked and killed the head of Lihua Peak last night, and the two sides fought to the death and died together. The cultivation of the knife maniac was far inferior to Yi Qingyao, but he was a well-trained dead soldier, who was well versed in the way of surprise and attacking the enemy by surprise, and had already swallowed a high-quality blood-burning pill in his body. The blood-burning pill can forcibly improve multiple cultivations, and improve multiple realms without regard for the consequences, allowing people to burst out with a moment of strength and kill with one blow. When the effect of the drug fades, he will also be exhausted to the point of only having his last breath, which is enough for him to commit suicide. This is where Du Sihai uses Rao's cleverness. If he sends a higher-level death warrior to attack, the second will definitely attract the attention of the sect master, and the sect master will definitely guess that it was an assassination by people from other major forces. If he investigates at that time, he will be in trouble. Du Sihai has always been watertight in doing things, and he will never allow himself to make such a low-level mistake. Soon, Dao Quang sneaked into the depths of Lihua Peak and came to the front of the courtyard. Suddenly, the moon showed a faint light, illuminating the entire mountain. Dao Quang's eyes condensed, and he hurriedly hid his body and ambushed Cheng in the bushes. At the same time, in the courtyard, in an elegant and quiet wing room, Yi Qingyao was lying on the jade bed, having already fallen asleep, unaware that there were dangers everywhere outside and death was approaching. Why do I feel something is wrong? She felt that the atmosphere around her seemed to have suddenly become much more solemn, as if there were flashes of swords and shadows, and a sharp murderous intent was ready to go. She opened her eyes, but saw nothing in front of her. Is it my illusion? That she shook her head, laughed at herself for being too suspicious, and then went back to sleep. Outside, the knife maniac suppressed for a long time, and the moonlight finally went down, and the entire Lihua Peak fell into darkness. A grim smile appeared on his face. He drew his sword out of the sheath, and jumped out of the bushes. I saw a black shadow approaching the gate quickly, with agile movements and extremely sharp. Swish! At this moment, from the foot of the main peak, a magnificent momentum rose, and then converged. The breath sank inward, and then saw a figure in white soaring into the air, and instantly stepped into Lihua Peak. It was Su Chang'e. After opening up a total of 22 caves, he needed to settle down. Since the number of caves was extremely terrifying, far exceeding that of ordinary people, he needed more time to settle down. Now, the settling down was finally completed. As soon as he stepped into this place, he raised his eyebrows fiercely. He saw a black shadow from the corner of his eye. Although the black shadow flashed by, he still noticed it. Who is it? Su Chang'e shouted, and the dragon-slaying sword immediately appeared in his hand. He activated the Taichu Yin-Yang ghost step and appeared directly behind Dao Quang. Dao Quang also heard a shout from behind. Before he could react, he felt the whistling wind behind him. The true energy was surging, and it was like a tornado. A huge heavy sword came towards him. No, I've been discovered. Dao Quang also reacted quickly. He turned around in an instant, stimulated the effect of the medicine in his body, and then attacked with a knife. Bang! There was a loud explosion in the silent night, and two big swords slashed together fiercely, and sparks flew everywhere. At the moment when the two swords slashed, Dao Quang only felt his wrist tremble, and his arms were numb from the shock. The blood in his body surged, and he couldn't bear it, and flew backwards. Boom! He staggered backwards, crashed through the courtyard wall, and staggered to the ground. Before he got up, he realized that a big sword was already on his neck. This made his pupils shrink and his heart was shocked. What's going on? There is such a master in Lihua Peak. Su Chang'e held the dragon-slaying sword, and the sharp blade penetrated 3 inches into Dao Quang's neck, cutting a crack. The bright red blood oozed from Dao Quang's Adam's apple, and he shouted coldly, "Who sent you here?" "You are delusional." Knowing that the mission failed, Dao Quang grinned, and made a decisive decision to activate the secret method to destroy his soul and die. The speed was so fast, the decision was so quick, Su Chang'e was caught off guard. This man is not ordinary. Su Chang'e frowned slightly, realizing that things were not that simple. He turned his head to look at Taifeng, only to see that it was dark and quiet under the cover of the night, and there was no handle. Okay, it's so sinister, although he couldn't find any handle, Su Chang'e also vaguely guessed that this must have been done by Taifeng. The reason is obvious. He has only made enemies with Taifeng these days, and has no dealings with other peaks. So, it must be them. But at the moment, there is no evidence. This villain is too cunning. Immediately, he lowered his body and began to search Dao Quang. Suddenly, the gate of the courtyard opened, and Qingyao came out wearing a veil, with a slightly changed color on her cheeks. The huge movement just now startled her. But after she came out, she only saw a figure in white hurried away, like a residual shadow passing by, as fast as the wind, and disappeared in the blink of an eye, and on the ground in front of her, there was a corpse of a masked man in black. This. She glanced at the man in black, and then glanced at the broken courtyard wall, and a flash of enlightenment suddenly flashed in her eyes. She was very smart, and after thinking carefully, she immediately deduced something. Is this person here to attack me? But he was discovered by the figure in white halfway, and the two sides fought. In other words, the man in white saved me, that the courtyard wall collapsed, and the masked man in black flew out of the courtyard. Then, the whole story was deduced. The masked man in black wanted to sneak into the courtyard to attack her, but at the critical moment, the figure in white came and attacked, knocked the masked man in black out, crashed through the courtyard wall, and then killed him. Who is that figure in white, and why did he save me? Qingyao's pupils shrank slightly, and she felt a strong sense of disbelief. Why did the other party save her for no reason? But the other party did it. Who could it be? She thought again and again, and her mind kept recalling the swift white figure just now, trying to search for this figure from her memory, but after thinking about it, she still couldn't locate it. In the end, she had to give up locating it. P.S. This is updated at around 7 o'clock in the morning. Although the scheduled time is 9 o'clock every morning, it will sometimes be updated in advance, and it will never be postponed. I wish you all a happy reading.